G'day everyone, this is DJ Cotts here, and you may have seen my review of this guy, the Midi Fighter Classic, a few months ago on my YouTube channel, and absolutely love this controller. It's got some solid arcade buttons and triggering many crazy effects in Traktor DJ Studio with it. And today I'm reviewing the Midi Fighter. And today I'm reviewing the Midi Fighter 3D from DJ TechTools. It's like the Midi Fighter Classic, but on steroids, and let's see how it goes. So here it is, the Midi Fighter 3D. What you get straight out of the box is obviously the Midi Fighter 3D itself. This high quality USB cable from DJ TechTools. You've got a Midi Fighter 3D sticker and the certificate of authenticity, which is quite a nice touch there. But yeah, the unit itself, we've got the buttons here, just like the standard Midi Fighter, and we've got these shift registers up top, which is brand new. You've also got these buttons on the side and on each side for controlling various parameters. And the most special thing about this Midi Fighter 3D is it's got a compass, basically a tilt sensor in it, and something else funky, cool. I've forgotten what it is at this point, but underneath the unit, we've got these addition of these new feet, which the Midi Fighter Classic didn't actually have, and that allows you to roll on like solid surfaces for tracking movement and things like that. And yeah, overall, really solid unit, feels really nice. And let's do something exciting and plug it in. But I'll just give you a quick comparison here with the Midi Fighter Classic. Actually, I'll put them side by side. As you can see, they're roughly the same size. They're roughly the same depth, and yeah, the Midi Fighter Classic doesn't have those feet, so yeah, let's plug it in. So the first thing you'll notice about this controller is how pretty it looks. When you plug in the controller, colors kind of explode out at you, and that's because of the LED lights that are underneath each one of these buttons. They have the ability to change to many different colors, and DJ TechTools has done an absolutely fantastic job with this. I think it's one of the best looking controllers out there at the moment. It gives you some great visual feedback as the DJ, and each button I press, I'll show you an example of that, the colors kind of explode out into these cool different patterns and styles, and yeah, it kind of connects you with the controller a bit more, I feel. But the main thing about the Midi Fighter 3D is it has an accelerometer and compass inside the controller, which tracks the controller's motion in space. And I'll show you what I mean by that. If I tilt the controller towards me, you'll see that the controller lights up. It knows through magic and wizardry that it's being tilted. It tracks it when you tilt it away, the movement that is. And I tilt it left, lights up red. Tilt it right, same thing. I can even tilt it on an angle and it will track that angular movement. These lights lighting up here, purple, looks really awesome. And it also tracks the rotation of the controller. So as you can see, using the compass, it knows when I'm turning it left and right like that. And since this is a MIDI controller, you can basically map these events, I'll call them, or say when you turn the controller, an event happens, for example, and you can map these events to functions in DJ software such as Traktor Scratch 2, which I'm using, Ableton, and many other bits of software. So I'll show you what I mean by that, and I'll show you this controller in action. But that's what the controller looks like. It looks absolutely awesome, and it's just so much fun to use. Really cool. So after my terrible explanation of how MIDI controllers relate to DJ software, I figure it's probably easier if I just show you what the controller does. I'm using this controller like I use the Midi Fighter Classic, which is basically to trigger effects in Traktor Scratch Pro 2 using its effects engine. Basically, when I press one of these buttons, it triggers a particular effect in Traktor Scratch Pro 2. And the cool thing about the Midi Fighter 3D is when I'm triggering effects with these buttons, I can also tilt the controller to change the parameter of that effect, as I explained earlier. So I'm just going to show you what it would have been like without the whole 3D crazy functionality of the Midi Fighter 3D. So this is basically what a Midi Fighter Classic can do. So it's a pretty cool controller already. That was using the instant gratification mapping that you can download from DJ TechTools, and now we can actually tilt the damn thing to change even more parameters about the effects and make all sorts of crazy sounds. I'll give you an example of that as well. Now the mapping I'm using for this controller is the Midi Fighter 3D deck grat motion tracking, which is basically a decalize mapping, which what that means is each shift button I press up here makes these effects apply to a different deck in Tractor, and also tracks the motion of the controller. So I'll apply a filter and I'll show you what the basically the motion does. So I'll hold down the filter, and as you can see, as I'm tilting the controller, it's changing how fast that filter is actually being triggered. And you can do it with many different effects like crush. Now this particular mapping also has the added feature of obviously you can tilt the controller on the side, but with these shift buttons on the side, I can press those, it starts these two lights blinking here, and that means that there's no effect currently being applied to the sideways motion of the controller. If I press these shift buttons, and then press some different buttons on the controller, these lights start blinking, which means that particular effect is engaged. I can't remember at the moment which ones they are because I'm not used to the controller yet, but now if we tilt the controller, it'll apply effect to the sideways motion. And we can change the effects again. So that's a pretty quick rundown on how you can tilt the Midi Fighter 3D to create all sorts of crazy effects in Tractor Pro 2. And as you saw, the accelerometer is actually really damn good in this. It tracks the motion and even the tiniest movements really, really well in the controller. It definitely exceeded my expectations, and it kind of allows you to do even the slightest movements to granularly control your effects. One thing about the Midi Fighter that I found is obviously because it is tracking your motion, you have to be careful where you move it, because you can't just, you know, throw it down on the table because you might accidentally trigger an effect. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to what mapping you're using with the controller. Now the mappings with the controllers are still in early days yet. This controller's been out for about a week or so at the time of filming this, but I'm really, really excited to see what people actually do with this controller. It's a really nice looking piece of hardware, as I said, and really it's up to the software to do all the hard work in terms of the effects. So the software is pretty straightforward for the Midi Fighters. You plug it in and it lets you set a few different settings on the Midi Fighter itself. But the main thing is the colors here. You can change the colors of the pretty lights. So if I click the inactive color, which is the outside of the buttons here, and then I click send to Midi Fighter down here, Midi Fighter will update, and suddenly those will light up awesome colors. And you can basically customize your controller, so when you press the buttons they light up different colors, and when they're not pressed they light up lots of different colors. So we'll just do that. Choose a few different ones. Send to Midi Fighter. Yay! So really easy to use, some awesome effects in there, and yeah, again, a nice job by DJ TechTools. So overall, a very innovative little controller here. It's got motion tracking, which is something that we haven't seen in DJ controllers before. It'll be very interesting to see where this goes, whether it's something that will catch on, but this is a first attempt, and it's been implemented extremely well, exceeded my expectations, and it looks awesome. $250 from the DJ TechTools website. Don't let the price put you off, because you get what you pay for in DJ controllers. This is, as I said, very well built unit. You need the DJ software to power it though. I'm using Track to Scratch Pro 2. I saw some cool videos of one guy using Ableton to do some music mashups with it. Clicky here for the link on that one. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes over the next few months. So I hope this video proved useful to you guys, and until next time, take care, check it out, Midi Fighter 3D.